Hi, I'm Tara with Love Yoga, and today we're doing a joint release series. This is a practice that I have found is super helpful for myself, my partner, and pretty much every client that I work with. I hope that you practice it often. It's a great one to do anytime you've already had a lot of physical activity in the day because it's very mellow, or even if you're feeling pretty tired after work, you could do this just to unwind. It's very therapeutic, so if you're dealing with some chronic pain, then I would really recommend going through this nice and slowly and feeling into each part of your body. It's also a great thing to do right before you do any other yoga series. Okay, let's begin. I have this blanket that I've been sitting on, and I'm going to move it underneath my head. So if you have something like that at home, you could do so as well. You'll also be able to place this underneath your knees later to cushion them. You can also do this first part seated, so if you would rather sit upright, you can. As I'm laying down, I'm gonna just take my legs out long and my arms by my side like a Savasana shape. If this isn't very comfortable in your body, you could also bring your feet mat width distance apart and knock your knees together. You just want to be somewhere where you can feel nice and grounded and start to come into your breathing patterns. Begin to invite the breath in through the nose and take a few sighs out through your mouth. Just releasing that stale energy that's trapped inside. And then begin to observe your breath as it streams in and out through your nose. What are you noticing in this moment? Does your breath feel a little bit choppy or shallow? Or perhaps it's already moving fluidly through your body. And do you notice that your inhales or your exhales seem longer? And then can you invite in equal length inhales and exhales? I like to start by inhaling for the count of 3 and exhaling for 3. You could do that a few times, and if it starts to feel comfortable, you may decide to extend your breath and inhale for the count of 4 or even 5, and exhale for the same length. So by connecting the breath to our body first, it brings us into presence and it helps to start us feeling more peaceful inside. We'll use this connection with our breath to move through all of the movements of the joint release series. So take this nice steady breath, make it a little bit more forceful or muscular in nature. So as you inhale through the nose, you hear the breath moving up the passage. And as you exhale, you move the breath down the back of your throat. Do this a few times. It's called Ujjayi Breath, and it's our yogic breathing, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose, feeling the constriction down the back of your throat. continue with this pattern. And then you can begin to bring your legs out long if they're not already. And then inhale, reach your arms all the way up overhead. Take a full body stretch from your fingers down to your tiptoes. And then on an exhale, bring your right knee into your chest. Hands come around your knee, give it a squeeze. Left leg stays active here, so you can keep your quad flexed and gently move your right knee back and forth. Just getting a little opening into the hip. And then begin to extend your right leg long, kicking up through the heel, slight bend in the knee. We'll start with our toes, just spreading them wide and then releasing them. And then maybe even trying to create some subtle movements. And then we start inhaling to bring the toes to the ceiling and exhaling to draw them down to your nose. Just a few point and flex. And then we'll start to rotate the ankle. So we inhale, the toes roll out to the side and up to the ceiling. And then you exhale, you bring them over and back towards you. So just nice movements, getting into the ankles, feeling snap, crackles, and pops. And you go the opposite way as well. And we start to move towards the knee. So as you inhale, reach your heel up a little further, stretch through the hamstring. And then as you exhale, drag your heel towards your glute. Do that 2 more times, and you could do this by even just releasing the heel down so that the knee joint has nice space as it comes up and down. Then we'll move on to the hips, so the arms come out wide to a T for balance. Bring your knee into the chest by bending it. And then we'll bring it over to the right and extend it forward. You can keep your knee bent here, or you can actually start to straighten your leg, making bigger hip circles. But depending on how your hips feel, this is where we hold a lot of imbalances in the body. This may not be comfortable to have a straight leg. And then we'll pause and go the opposite direction. So inhale, we cross over midline and extend the leg forward. Exhale, bend the knee, draw it back into your chest. Nice work. So 1 more of these. And then we'll pause with the knee in towards the chest. And we're going to drape this knee over to the left, and your gaze rolls to the right so that we take a twist. Here we start to expand the breath because it's going to feel a little constricted in your torso. And then on an inhale, rock back to center. Take your right leg down to meet the left. Pause for a moment and just feel the difference between the right lower half of your body and the left. You can feel the energy pulsing through, like that prana or energy is stimulated. So we'll do the same to the other side, reaching tall, fingers down to the toes on the inhale. Exhale, drawing the left knee in, keeping the right leg active. Gently rocking the knee side to side here. And then hands come around the hamstring, extending the heel up. Slight bend in the knee to start. And just roll the toes, fan them wide. Get a little life into those joints. And then inhale the toes up. And exhale, flex them down. Pointing up, and exhale to flex. And then we'll start by rolling the ankles, so both directions, trying to let all of the movement be isolated to the actual joint. And then we'll go the opposite way. So inhaling out and up, exhaling over and back towards you. Really breathing with these movements and thinking about how this side might be a little different than the other. Moving to the knee, we'll extend the hamstring a little bit more, kicking up through the heel, and then exhale, bend the knee, heel comes down. We'll do that 2 more times, and you may decide to just let the heel come and flop down so that you can really release the knee joint. Hands come out to the T for balance. Take an inhale with the knee drawn into the chest, and then we'll bring it over midline and forward, out and back in. So inhale, we cross and extend. Again, you can keep your leg bent here. And then exhale as you draw the knee back to the chest. We'll do 3 on each side. So as this one comes back around, we pause and then reverse. This is where you really may be feeling some of those nuances within the joint. Just observe it. If there's any pain, obviously, make the movements a little bit smaller. But don't avoid movement, because sometimes we have a tendency to do that when we feel pain. So we'll be moving into a twist. The knee drops over to the right and gaze comes to the left. Breathing through the torso. You may have even felt a little crack in your back, aligning the spine. On an inhale, we'll come back to center. And then bend both of your knees here. And we're gonna roll onto the side and start to come up to seated. I'm gonna leave my blanket here for a moment and bring the legs out to not a full wide straddle, so just what's comfortable. We don't want to go into too big of a stretch here yet. And we're going to be awakening more of our pelvis now. So as you bring your fingertips forward, you just take a little fold and breathe. And then allow yourself to hover here. We'll take an inhale and then exhale, come over to your left, gaze over the shoulder, take a slight twist. And then we inhale, come back through center. You're using your core for engagement. And then over to the right. One more time, each side. And you'll notice as you come to your left, the right hip lifts just a little bit. Back through center. And other side. And then as we come back up here, we're gonna bring the legs in and start to come onto our hands and knees. I'm gonna use my blanket again to pad my knees. So if you have a towel or a blanket, that might feel good. And we're gonna start with just some cat-cows. So stacking shoulders over wrists and hips over knees, making a nice tabletop shape. On an inhale, we drop the belly, lengthen the neck as you look forward. And then as you exhale, press down, curl your chin to chest and round the spine. So we're going for a big range of motion right now. Inhaling to drop the belly and lengthen, and exhaling to really draw the belly up towards the spine. Spread the shoulder blades on your back. We'll do one more of those. And exhale. And then we'll come forward back to that tabletop shape. And take your right leg back behind you. So you're kicking towards the wall. Notice my toes are facing down. And drawing my inner thigh towards midline. Now you can stay here, or some of you may want to take your left arm out, reaching. So this is thunderbolt. We're reaching forward with the opposite hand to the opposite leg. Drawing into the core. So we warmed up the spine before this. Now we're really warming up the core. We'll take an inhale here, And then exhale, elbow comes to your knee, round the spine. Inhale, lengthen, reach forward, and then exhale, really round, drawing up and in. We'll come back forward, even out, and then place your hand and knee down. Nice work. Take a cat-cow just to realign here. And then we'll move to the other side. So that left foot kicks back. Even yourself out in the hips, toes face down. Core is active, and then that right arm just kind of floats on up. So we reach and extend, feel your core strength. Take an inhale, exhale, curl elbow to knee. Inhale, extend and lengthen, and then exhale, curl it in. One more time, extend, even yourself out, and then place your hand and knee back to the mat. We'll take one more cat-cow here. And then we're gonna rock side to side. So we're gonna come into the right hip, come back up through center, and then back down to the left. One more time each side, and you'll feel a nice stretch in this outer part of your hip and glute. And now we'll walk the fingertips forward, lengthening your arms. Take an inhale, round the spine, tucking chin to chest, and then exhale, release your forehead to the mat. You can stay here, or I like to pulse a few times, inhaling to lift and round, exhaling to release, melting the heart down. So in puppy pose, you really get a nice shoulder stretch. And then we'll come up to our knees again. And you have some choices. In this first part, we'll start by sitting in hero's pose. So we'll be on the knees. You can also crisscross your legs, but we'll be moving to that in a few moments. So this is a nice way to give your legs a break. So from our knees, we'll work our way into the upper limbs, into the shoulders and the neck. So starting with our fingers, just like we did with our toes, just spreading them wide and releasing a few times. And then taking each one of your fingers and trying to touch your palm with it, just getting a little stretch all the way through each one of your fingers. Nice work. So now we're going to extend the arms long and work through the wrists. We inhale, lifting the fingers up. And then we exhale, bringing them down. Notice that my arms are staying nice and level here. We're just getting into the pointing upwards and the flexing down, just like we did with our feet. Moving into our wrist rolls, tucking the thumb in, fingers come around. And then we'll start by rotating inward and down. And then exhaling out and up. We'll do that a few times. And I always feel some little pops in my wrist. Lots going on in there. We use our hands for so many things. In the opposite direction. Just noticing what's going on inside. And then we'll move towards our elbows. So we'll inhale, both arms we flex, and then we exhale, we just release. So it's gentle, just getting some movement into those elbow joints. And maybe on this next one, you kind of let them go, just like we did with the knees. Nice job. So moving towards the shoulders, we bring the fingertips to the tips of the shoulders, and then start to extend the elbows out. Feel your shoulder blades pressing together back behind you. Now inhale, draw the elbows forward and up. And then exhale, release them back and down. This is my favorite part of this series. Inhaling up, out, and exhaling back and down. Really just getting some range of motion in your shoulders and paying attention to if it feels the same on both sides. Last one. Nice work. Now we'll go ahead and take our legs more into a crisscross shape. And you can move the flesh of your sit bones back so that you can settle in and bring your hands to your knees. We'll inhale, take a cat-cow here by just rounding and then extending your chest forward. And then when you round back, we're going to just come into some rolls. So notice as I come forward, it's almost like that cow shape. And as I come back, it's like cat. Starting to get into more of our side bodies. And we'll switch directions so that we go both ways. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Then we'll start to lengthen the spine back out. Drop your arms down, give them a little shake. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, palms touch overhead, give yourself a little smile. And then exhale, pull your hands to your heart. Pause here for just a moment, connect with this space. Maybe you feel your heart beating. Just notice what your breath is doing. And then begin to interlace your fingers. We'll take an inhale here. Exhale, push your palms forward, round your spine. On your inhale, the arms float up. You're still pressing up through the palms. Wiggle in the shoulders, let them settle down. We'll take another inhale, press up, and then exhale, side bend to your right, gaze under the left arm. Inhale through center, and then over to the left, gazing under your right. We'll go one more time to each side. Now as you come to your right, really plug down into that left sitting bone. It likes to lift up. Lift through center and then back to the other side. As you come back up through center, take one more inhale and press up. And then exhale, cactus your arms. So it's like you're dragging a bar down, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Pause here. As you exhale, press your palms down and back as your elbows kind of shine forward. And then as you inhale, lift the hands up. We'll do that 2 more times, pressing down and then inhaling up. Last time. So we've opened most parts of the body. The last part is our neck. So you can just let your hands rest down on your knees. We'll drop the chin down and then roll your ear so it drops towards your right shoulder. Lengthen the whole left side of your neck. You can just take a few pulses, dropping the neck, bringing it towards your shoulder. And then we'll roll the chin through center, back to the other side, and do the same thing. So dropping and lengthening the neck. And then we'll come back through center, gazing up and down. As you gaze up, release your jaw so that your teeth part. Even give it a wiggle. And then come back down. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw, and that masseter is actually the most tight muscle in the body. So releasing the jaw, not letting the teeth touch except when you're eating, actually will help alignment in your body. Now we'll look over to the right and then up and then to the left and down. So I'm leading with my chin, inhaling to the right and up, and exhaling to the left and down. We'll pause and go the opposite way, inhaling to the left and up, then exhaling to the right and down. And just noticing that if you have any imbalances here, it could be because of the way you sleep, maybe on your side, or the way we carry bags. So just using these little movements to release all of that tension. Nice work, everyone. So now what we're gonna do is just come down onto your backs. And you can, again, use this as a pillow. And you will take a Savasana. So as you come down, if you'd like to use your core, you could reach forward, lower down part of the way. And do that just a few times, getting a little extra core engagement until you feel ready to just settle all the way back down onto your back. And you can lengthen your legs out long. Arms come out by your sides. And just take up some space and allow yourself to settle in. I would recommend that you lay and rest for about 5 minutes and just come into a state of rest and digest, where your body surrenders to everything, lets go. And you'll notice that when you come out of this, you'll feel much more rested, like a reset to your day. And so when you feel ready, you'll just take a full body stretch and then eventually roll to one side and come back into a seated position. Thank you again. The light and love in me honors the same in each of you. Namaste.